this video, we're going to be talking about choosing a forms plugin for our WordPress website. Now, a lot of the time when people are thinking about forms, they're thinking about a standard contact form, but there's actually a lot more uses for forms when we're talking about our websites. So we can have request a quote forms, we can have application forms, and they can be as complex or as simple as you need. We can also do things like conditional logic, which means we can show or hide different fields depending on how people answered previous questions. We can also use extensions to tie our forms into third-party services such as MailChimp or Campaign Monitor or other mailing list services to get, to generate more leads or to add people to our mailing lists and a lot of other stuff. So just keep that in mind that we definitely want to use a form builder to create a contact form for our website, but there may be other uses that can help your marketing or your sales team get more information and interaction from your users. So both of the plugins that we're going to be looking at today have that functionality. They can both create simple forms and they can both create advanced, multi-part or forms that are using conditional logic. But there's a few differences between them that's going to help you decide which one is best for you. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the pricing model of both plugins. The first plugin that we're going to talk about is Gravity Forms, and this is a commercial plugin, so there is no free version. And if we look at their pricing model, we can see that there's 3 different licenses to choose from: a basic, a pro, and an elite license. And the difference between the two, in addition to how many sites you can use the plugin on, so with the basic license, we have a license for 1 site, but unlimited forms. And then with the Pro, we have 3, and with the Elite, we have the unlimited. But in addition to that, the difference is the amount of add-ons that come with the form plugin. So we're paying for a license, but in addition to that, we're paying for which add-ons are going to come with our core plugin. With Ninja Forms, the alternative to Gravity, the core plugin is actually completely free. So that has the functionality to create, basic forms, but it lacks some functionality like conditional logic. So if we look at the pricing for Ninja Forms, so with these packages, in addition to the amount of sites you can use it on, it also affects the amount of add-ons that come with it. They also have, with the free version of the plugin, you can also buy the add-ons one-off. So with Gravity Forms, you have to purchase a license, and with that license comes certain add-ons. With Ninja Forms, you can choose that same similar model, but you can also download the core plugin for free and buy add-ons one-off as you need. So the first thing we need to consider is, what do we need our forms for? If we just need a contact form, then that core plugin from Ninja Forms, which is free, is really going to have everything that we need, and we can create simple contact forms with it. So if that's your situation and you're just going to be using forms to create a contact form for your website, then Ninja Forms is probably the way to go. If you need some advanced functionality and you think you're going to be taking a look at some of the extensions that are available, that's going to be the second part that's going to help you decide. So if we go to the Gravity Forms website, which I'll link below this video, and we click on add-ons, we can see all the different add-ons that are available for Gravity Forms. And this is everything from mailing list integration to Dropbox to additional form fields to order forms and a lot of other stuff. And you can see which add-ons come with which license on this page. And then the same thing with Ninja Forms. If we go to add-ons, we can see all of the different add-ons that are available, and you can either purchase these one-off or you can pick the license that includes them. So if we're just creating simple contact forms and we don't need any other real functionality, then we can go with Ninja Forms because that core plugin is free. But if we do think we're going to be needing some of these extensions, and I recommend checking out both the extensions for Gravity Forms and Ninja Forms to see if that functionality you need is there, and also to get ideas of what you may be able to do with those forms, and then pick the plugin that's appropriate. So look at the different add-ons, see, kind of visualize what you're going to be needing for your forms, read the description of the extensions to see if that's something you're going to need, and then go with the plugin that's going to offer you the most for the most functionality or the most extensions for the least amount of money. So that's the second thing. So our first is, what do we need our forms for? The second is, which has the extensions that I need? And you're going to see that they have very similar extensions. They both tie into a lot of mailing list services. They both have multi-part forms and conditional logic, but with Gravity Forms, some of that functionality is included in the base plugin, and with Ninja Forms, some of them are available as extensions. So you can kind of see the difference between the two and then pick based on that. The third thing that we're going to use to decide is just the look and feel of the builder, because they look very different even though they operate fairly similar. So I want to talk about some of the similarities in the sense that they both have a very easy to use builder. They both store entries in the back end. So what that means is when somebody fills out your form, yes, you can get a notification email and you're going to get that all that information. But in addition to that, both plugins also store entries in the back end of WordPress so you can browse through and read them. So they're stored in addition to emailing you, they're also stored in your website. And both plugins offer that functionality out of the box. So the third thing is really just going to be the look and feel of the editor itself. And so I'm going to show you very briefly the builder from each, and then we can use that to decide which one we want to use. So I'm just going to go into plugins. I've installed both plugins on this site. So I'm just going to activate Gravity Forms. And you can see we now have a new forms icon. So I'll click that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a quick contact form with Gravity Forms, and then we'll do the same thing with Ninja Forms, and you can kind of see the difference. So this is the workspace for Gravity Forms. On the left-hand side, this is where we're going to see our form or see our form fields, and on the right-hand side are all of the available fields that we can use to build our form. So in this case, I'm just going to create a very simple contact form. So we'll do a name field. And then we're going to add an email field. And then we're going to go to standard fields and add a paragraph text, and that's where they're going to be able to put in their message. And you can see that there's options for each kind of field. We can show and hide different parts of the name. We can make the form required. There's some ways to dictate how the form field looks. And there's some other, advanced fields which we'll actually cover in the tutorials. But for now, you can see I can have first and last name, or I can disable last and we just have a first name, or however you'd like to set that up. We can make the field required by checking that box. With email address, we can enable email confirmation, so they have to enter in their email address twice. We can also make that required. And then we have our message field, and we can change the field label and just type in message, and we'll make that required as well. And then we will save our form. So that's our form builder. You can drag and drop, you can click the fields. It's very easy to use, very easy to put together a form. And then we would go into, we can set up notifications. So who's going to get an email when they fill out this form, where that email should go. And we can also determine what happens on the user's end. So should they see a message, should they be redirected to a page, etc. And you can change all of that stuff in the settings. So I'm just going to go to my pages now, and I'm going to go and open up my contact page. So once my contact page is open, I can click on Add Form, and I can select the form that I just built from Gravity Forms, contact form. I can choose what information I would like to display, and I can click on Insert Form and then update my page, and that's it. My form is now going to be available. So I'll just open that up, and you can see we have now a basic contact form entering in the first and last name, the email address, and the message. All right, so I'm going to go to plugins. I'm going to deactivate Gravity Forms, and I'm going to activate Ninja Forms. So now we have our Ninja Forms form field, or menu item, sorry. And you can see they put in a contact form, just by default, so you can kind of see how to build forms and see the fields. But let's create a brand new one, and I'll just create a blank form. And we'll do the same thing. So here on the left, we have our workspace, and on the right, we have all of the available fields. So you can see that with Gravity Forms, it's much more of a basic looking builder. Even though it's very complex and you can do a lot of stuff with it, it's more of a basic kind of look within the WordPress editor, whereas Ninja Forms went for a more modern style and a more kind of Web 2.0 interface. But they actually work very similar, and they have similar functionality. So the real difference is in the user interface. Looks a little bit more modern with Ninja Forms. With Gravity Forms, it's a little bit more standard. So which one you prefer might have an effect on which one you want to choose. So let's just do the same thing. We'll add a first name field, we will add an email field, and then we will add a message box. And again, that's paragraph text. And you can see when I click on the field, it opens up the options on the right instead of with Gravity Forms where it expands the window. And I think we can pretty much keep this the same. We'll make this required. We'll open up our email field and make that required. And then we'll make our paragraph text required. And then we would go to email and actions, and that's where we set up the notification emails, whether we want it to be stored in the back end. Gravity Forms does that by default. And then we can decide, do we want to show them a message or redirect them, etc. So let's publish this form, and we'll call it Simple Contact Form. And we'll click on Publish. And now we'll close this down, and we will go to our contact page again. And we'll delete the shortcode from Gravity Forms, and we'll click the Ninja Forms, select our contact form, insert, update. And now if we go to our contact page and refresh, we're going to see our Ninja form. So this is our Ninja form, right? So as you can see, they work pretty similar. There's just a little bit of a difference in the user interface about how it's set up, but they do have similar functionality. So I'll just go through a quick reference. The first thing we want to think about is, what do we need from our forms? If we just want a simple contact form, the core plugin from Ninja Forms is free and it has a lot of that base functionality, so that's probably the best way to go. If we need some additional functionality, or we want to get ideas from the, what functionality is available, I suggest checking out both websites, check out the extensions that are available, and then see which one has the best license that's going to get you the extensions you want for the lowest price. And also check out with Ninja Forms, remember you can buy them one-off. So if you just really need one extension, that might be the cheapest way to go. And then the third way is just, again, the user interface, the look and feel of it, which one is more your style, which one do you think you'd be more comfortable with. But both of these form plugins are fantastic. Both of them are well worth the price that you might have to pay for them. They have very similar extensions and functionality, and they both store all of your submissions in the back end, or have that ability, and they can pretty much both create any kind of form that you can think of, and they both have access to things like conditional logic. So that's it for our two form plugins. Just go ahead and check out both the websites, try to figure out which one is going to work best for your budget and for your needs, and which one matches the best with their look and feel, and then go ahead and select that, and we will add the tutorials to your queue to show you how to build forms and how to do some of the more advanced stuff like conditional logic, and we'll also have tutorials for all of the available extensions.